How to turn $500 into $234 billion if you're not Elon Musk. There's a simple way. Become a brick kiln owner in Pakistan. Yep, you heard right. Become a brick kiln owner in Pakistan who can chain these low-skilled workers into lifelong slavery with compound interest they cannot pay. I am Honey Badger. Let's explore the story of millions of brick kiln workers in Pakistan. How did they become slaves in modern times? This is Pakistan, a South Asian country where 37.2% of the population lives in poverty. A country of over 200 million people plunged into an economic crisis since 2022 due to high inflation, currency devaluation, low foreign exchange reserves primarily used to import food and fuel. The poor country had to endure a terrible situation when in the summer of 2022, a catastrophic flood swept away one-third of Pakistan's agricultural land, affecting 33 million people and causing an economic loss of around $40 billion. However, that doesn't stop about 20,000 brick kilns across Pakistan from firing up every day. They're part of the 100,000 brick kilns scattered throughout South Asia, where these kilns are responsible for 91% of environmental pollution. However, these highly polluting facilities are also workplaces for 4.5 million people in Pakistan. All have similar stories. Every day, they have to produce enough bricks to earn around $3 a day. But the problem is they don't get to keep all of this money for themselves. Half of $3 will be taken back by the kiln owner. They call it debt deduction. However, no debts are recorded or specific conditions agreed upon between the kiln owner and the workers, most of whom are illiterate and even don't know how to count. The creditor holds the handle of the knife while the debtor grips the blade because they don't know how much money they owe, how much interest is added, or how long they need to work to repay their debt. Optimistic people would say that no matter how much debt you have, it will eventually be paid off as long as you work hard and earn money. If you think that, you're making a big mistake in Pakistan, because rest assured, your debt will only increase and never decrease. Natural disasters, food insecurity, and economic crisis have pushed inflation in Pakistan to record levels. In March 2023, the country's consumer price index increased by 35%, which is the highest in Pakistan's history. The prices of food, beverages, and gasoline have increased by more than 5% compared to last year, while staple items like wheat flour, a main food in the Pakistani diet, have doubled in price over the past year. During the month of Ramadan, endless long queues of people wait to receive free flour at government distribution centers in the capital Islamabad. The government announced the distribution of free bags of flour to the poorest individuals. But among this crowd are also people who have never sought charity in their lives. In Karachi, the financial hub of Pakistan, 13 women and children lost their lives in March when hundreds of people trampled over each other in a scramble for free food. For brick kiln workers, the situation is no better. Their already low incomes are further reduced to repay debts. They have no choice but to continue borrowing money from wealthy owners just to survive each day. This man, along with his wife, mother, and son, all work at the same brick kiln to pay off their debt. They are among the 150 families trapped in debt at a brick kiln in the Thar Desert. Most of them are Dalits, the lowest caste in India's caste system. Over 20 years ago, this man borrowed money from the brick kiln owner to pay his hospital bill, and now he's still the same, living with his wife, a 70-year-old mother, and a 12-year-old son. He vaguely knows that he still owes the kiln owner around $560, an amount the owner can make in just a week by selling the bricks his family has made. The stories of others are similar, with illnesses leaving them unable to afford medicine, the burden of raising children, and the cost of daily living. There are countless reasons why these workers get stuck in a cycle of debt. The women say that if they are sick or pregnant and unable to work, the kiln owner will deduct those days from their advance wages. If they borrow $1 more, the debt will be recorded as double. In Pakistan, to make bricks, people mix soil with water, knead it into a paste, and then mold it into molds. After that, they dry the bricks outdoors and fire them in kilns at temperatures up to 1,100 degrees Celsius. Yep, in a desert already scorching hot. These kilns are covered in sand, and the gaps are made of wood, resemble caves that could collapse at any time. Many workers have lost their lives by falling into these blazing kilns. The fuel used is coal, which emits thick black smoke that the people working and living around here inhale, leading to constant illness. Day after day, the workers have to work at full capacity to meet the target of producing 1,500 bricks per day. If they don't finish before the end of the day, the brick kiln owner will deduct from their meager wages. This happens more often than you might think, with illnesses, bad weather, accidents often preventing these laborers from meeting their assigned targets, even though they have a small support team consisting of their entire family, including young children not yet of working age. It's estimated that 1/3 of the workers in brick kilns are not yet of legal working age, and in some kilns, children under 10 age make up half of the workforce. All of this is completely illegal. Pakistan's 1992 constitution has specific provisions regarding forced labor. However, more than 3 decades have passed, and it seems this law has had no effect. No one, no matter the violation, should face any legal consequences. The Global Slavery Index estimates that Pakistan has around 3.1 million victims of forced labor, with a significant portion of them belong to religious minority groups. In 2014, a Christian couple was falsely accused of blasphemy by a fanatical mob and burned alive in a brick kiln in front of their daughter. According to police reports, the brick kiln owner had incited a Muslim cleric to publicly accuse the couple of blasphemy. Subsequently, a fanatical mob dragged them around the brick kiln, beat them brutally, and pushed them into the scorching kiln. 2 years later, a female lawyer presented Pope Francis with a brick symbolizing the plight of Christian slaves working in brick kilns in Pakistan. These bricks are made by the hands of laborers covered in clay and sand who sacrifice their lives and families in the process. From the kilns, the bricks are taken to build mansions for the wealthy, hospitals, schools, government buildings, but the profits never reach the hands of those who make them. It's said that these bricks may be stained red with the blood of slave laborers who have been slaves from generation to generation. The children may inherit debts from their parents, and the cycle of slavery continues. They work all day in the brick kilns and are deprived of the right to education. Sometimes children were taken hostage if their parents leave the kiln, even for a short period. With debts piling up from year to year, causing them to fall into despair, some people are forced to sell their kidneys to repay debts, while others give up on life. However, why do tens of thousands of earthly hells like this still exist and operate? Why doesn't the law do anything? Firstly, most brick kilns are located in rural areas to avoid public and social scrutiny, as well as to stay out of reach of legal inspectors. Here, these workers live in terrible conditions. Water used for mixing clay causing numerous skin diseases, and toxic smoke from the kilns causing asthma and increasing the risk of tuberculosis. Without toilets, women are forced to go outdoors and become victims of harassment and abuse. Some reports indicate that behind these brick kilns are influential politicians in Pakistan and their relatives who have the backing to become kiln owners. They often collude with corrupt police officials to fabricate criminal records against the workers, most of whom are illiterate and unaware of the exploitative terms in their labor contract. If they try to escape, the kiln owners may use violence to force them back, and upon return, they will have to endure painful beatings from the kiln owner and a huge fine. In some cases, the daughters of escaped workers may be forced into marriage or sold to atone for her father. It's hard for us to imagine and accept that in today's world, millions of people are still being brutally exploited and enslaved, but the law doesn't take any action to protect them. Slavery, a phenomenon that seemed to have disappeared many years ago, but still exists in many countries around the world. The only thing that has changed is the price, as while slaves in previous centuries had a relatively high value, modern slavery comes at a much lower cost. It's estimated that, in the Asia-Pacific region alone, there are nearly 25 million slaves, with agriculture and brick production being the industries with the highest rates of slave ownership. However, this continues to happen due to the complicity of greed and power, and those living in slavery only knowing to pray and hope for a miracle to change their fate. Thank you for watching the video. I am Honey Badger. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to receive the latest videos. Goodbye, and see you in the next videos.